The latest Storm Mortal Kombat figure is finally here. He was my most anticipated Mortal Kombat figure release of the year, and I could not be more excited that we finally have Kintaro. How's it going, everyone? I am your host, Deceptibot9. Thank you for joining me here on the channel today for my review of the Storm Collectibles Mortal Kombat Kintaro figure. Before we jump into the figure, go ahead and leave me a like if you like what you see, and don't forget to subscribe as well if you want to see more and stay up to date with all the future content. And follow me on social media on TikTok at Deceptibot9 and on Instagram at Deceptibot9 reviews, so you can keep up with all the cool stuff I get and all the short form content I make there. So without further ado, we've got Kintaro in hand. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at the guy. All right, here we are with a closer look at Kintaro, and I don't know if you guys can tell on camera, but just like the other mini-boss characters in Storm's Mortal Kombat line, this guy is so big, and of course he is, because he deserves to be huge. And overall, I mean, this guy is great. If you love the Storm figures, if you love the Mortal Kombat ones, especially ones like Goro, you are gonna love Kintaro. This guy knocks it out of the park. He is big, he feels great, he's like nice and heavy, and oh, knocked him over. He comes with a great amount of accessories and all of that, of course, which we will get to here in just a moment. Because first, I want to go ahead and take a look at the details. So as always, this guy looks incredible. Here is one of his head sculpts here. Got the nice angry face. We see the teeth are painted really well. We got the lips, obviously, and then like the faded paint job of the red texture going into the lighter texture is really, really cool. He, of course, gets his little cat eyes going there. The shoulder armors look really, really cool as well. They've got this texture on them that makes them look like they've been through the ringer before. These parts are not too sharp. They're not I mean, they're kind of a soft-ish plastic, but you don't need to worry about poking yourself on them. You can see even coming down to the chest, he's got, and get some of his arms out of the way, he's got great muscle detail here up in the neck. Down here on the harness, it looks like real leather, obviously, and just the chest itself looks great. The abs look awesome. You can see all the muscle detail in the arms. They all have this same detail in them. Going down to the belt, obviously looks great. The legs, you can see the veiny texture, and it's just, that looks so nice right there. And the muscle detail on him, these knee pieces are the same type as the shoulder armors up there. More veins, big muscles. He's got nice, big Tigrar feet with pokey claws. These ones are a little sharp, so be warned of that. And of course, all along his back, he's got these nice, beautiful tiger stripes painted, of course, over some beautiful texture as well. So you can see that Kintaro here is packed with detail, and he looks spectacular. As much as I love every other Storm release that comes out, I think they really, really shine in the Mortal Kombat line when they get to do the big boss characters like these ones. I think they just put so much passion and love into these ones specifically. I think they always come out absolutely fantastic, and Kintaro here is no exception. And besides being big and just being awesome, he comes with a lot of accessories. So let me show you everything this guy comes with, because it is a good amount. All right, so here is an overview of all of the accessories we get with Kintaro. Now, starting over here on the Kintaro side, obviously, we get a calm alternate head. This is the one he came packed with. You can see it's got the same type of detailing as the angry head that's on him, but his mouth is closed and he is just calm. He also comes with a second head as well, this scowling head where you can see his teeth and he is growling at you rather, but he's not full on yelling. This one looks nice as well. Plus, we get one full set of each of these hands. So there is a kind of closed grippy hand, so you get one for each of his arms. You get 4 fists, again, one for each of his arms. And you get these open hands, again, 4, so you get one for each arm. On top of all those pieces that come for Kintaro himself, one addition that I really like, I know that this is a detractor for some people, but I know other people like myself are really into this idea. You get swappable arms for the unmasked MK3 Sub-Zero, so that you can have kind of an icy arms effect. And I think this is really, really neat because I love this look on Sub-Zero, so I think getting the option to be able to use these on my Sub-Zero is really, really cool. And besides getting just the arms, you are getting all the typical hands that you would be getting for Sub-Zero, but they come in the clear blue, so there's kind of this pointy one. There's 2 of those, obviously. There's 2 of these open ones that are used to shoot the ice out of his hand. You get 2 fists, clear plastic. Obviously, these are all clear plastic. You get your grippy ones for the ice tomb, and you get your just fully open choppy hands. Now we get into the blood and the fatality effects, which are always great to get on these Mortal Kombat figures. And the big attraction here is the ripped in half head. And I mean, look at the detail on this thing, man. It is so gnarly in there. It's so cool. If you put the halves together, you see that it is Sub-Zero. It is MK3 unmasked Sub-Zero. He looks a little unhappy, which obviously, but these are a great looking piece. It's really, really cool. To go along with that, you do also get this piece where it's got the spinal cord coming out, so it's kind of like Kintaro rips the head up and then apart. It's got a little socket here at the bottom, so you can attach it to the ball joint of the head. I'll go ahead and show it off here in a minute. You also get these that just go in the arms, so if you want to emulate Kintaro ripping off the arms, these go in the arm joint socket, so it's like a blood splatter there. And you also just get 2 standard blood effects that just look like big blood splooges, and they have ball joint sockets as well, so you can put them anywhere that has a ball joint sticking out of that. So, while filming the accessories part, I realized that I neglected to mention the other accessory that we get with Kintaro is his fireball. His fireball looks really sweet. It's just a very simple fireball, 2-colored, and it comes with this little stand here so that you can prop it up and project it to appear as if it is coming out of his mouth. And with all of that, that is all the accessories, and we'll go ahead and move on. I want to go ahead and show off some of these alternate effects here really fast, and how they can be used and how they look on these other figures. All right, here's one of my favorite uses of these blood effects. You can see Kintaro has ripped Sub-Zero's head off and then apart. I love this addition. This spine coming out addition is really, really fun. It looks a little goofy sometimes, but I mean, come on. That's really cool. And just to show you how easy this is to go on and off, it's just really simple. It pops on right over the ball joint, and the head, of course, can go right back on the ball joint. Usually putting things on takes a little bit more force in terms of the ball joint tolerances, because I was unsure. Sometimes the heads are a little easy to remove, sometimes they're not. But on top of that also, obviously there is the arm swap. Now this one I was a little nervous for with Sub-Zero. Let me move Kintaro out of the way here. Because very rarely do I pull off the arms of my Storm figures, and so I was not entirely sure that was something that could be done very easily, but rest assured that the ball joints on these arms do come off. Why don't you focus on Sub-Zero? There you go. Do come off fairly easily. You just kind of got to grab them in the right spot to pull. So they do come out. Normally, I find it best if you grab it at the actual upper shoulder joint and you're holding it at the butterfly joint, because if you're not holding it at the butterfly joint, those do have a tendency to fly right out. And so to show off this other blood effect that goes in there, Yeah, that just goes right into the ball socket, and so that goes right into the socket. And so if you want to simulate Kintaro ripping off Sub-Zero's arm, which is really, really neat. And then to show you how easy the arms go in, just like that. So again, on the other side, there you go. Sometimes you got to give it a little twist and kind of nudge it out a little bit, but it goes in and out, no problemo. So real quick, we'll show off. Here is Sub-Zero, how he looks with the icy arms effect, and I just think that's such a neat look, and it's so cool, and I love that we get these added accessories. I know some people didn't want them attached to Kintaro and would have rather had some other accessories that are more Kintaro focused, but I think it's really cool because you're kind of building a versus 2-pack by including some of these accessories that are meant to go with other figures, and I think that's really neat as well. So all right, enough about Sub-Zero. Let's go ahead and move back to Kintaro, shall we? All right, we've put Kintaro in a neutral pose here, so we can go ahead and cover his articulation really fast. It is I would say standard for Storm figures, but obviously he is not a standard figure. So, all right, up here at the head, you are getting it on a ball joint, which can make it swivel all the way around. He can look up, kind of, because he's got this double joint going on. So it's dumbbell joint is the proper term, and he can look down about that far as well. All of his arms are on joints that can make them go all the way around, but obviously these bottom ones are going to be hindered, so they cannot go fully around unless you move out of the way and do tweaking like that. These two up here at the top are on butterfly joints, so they can get a backwards movement and a forward movement. These two on the bottom are not on butterfly joints. There is a swivel at each of the biceps. It's just a little tricky depending on its situation. There we go. They can swivel a little bit. Each of them are on double elbows, which we have come to expect, and all of the wrists of course are on the traditional swivel around, but they can also hinge side to side or up and down depending on how you move that hinge. They all do also pop off, obviously, because the accessories, they come with different arms. Anyway, you do also get on him the upper ab cut, which more so moves it down and up rather than side to side. It does do the twist ever so slightly. If you want twist, you're going to have to go here on the waist, which does go all the way around, and it also crunches forward, backward, and side to side. All of that fun stuff. Legs go forward about that far. Legs go backwards a decent amount. That's better than some of the other figures I've reviewed lately. They go out that much. So not a whole lot. He cannot get into a very big split, but that's okay because these big guys usually don't anyway. Those joints are the tightest joints on my figure, at least, and most of the recent Storm figures I've got, or the couple recent, have been very tight right up there. Anyway, they do swivel as well, so you can get them twisting in different directions. The knees are on the double joint as well, like we've come to expect. Down here to the feet, they can hinge downward ever so slightly, upward ever so slightly. They swivel all the way around, and they of course bend at his big old toe. So like we have come to expect with Storm Collectibles, this guy is packed full of articulation, and you can get him into some pretty incredible poses, and he looks spectacular in pretty much every pose you are going to put him into. So real quickly, let's show off some comparisons so you can get an idea of how big this guy is, because I do not think the camera is doing it justice. Here he is with the Sub-Zero that he comes with ice arms for. You'll see that is a huge difference if you know how big this Sub-Zero is. Kintaro's a big boy. Here he is with a standard McFarlane Mortal Kombat figure. You see that scale is it's pretty accurate. It's pretty well. So your McFarlane figures can fit in with your Storm figures if you would like them to. And of course, what's Kintaro without Goro? These two look awesome together, side by side as well. Goro I've shrunken him a little bit because he's bending at the knees. But Kintaro feels bigger than Goro. I think that is accurate to the game as well. I do believe Kintaro is a little bit bigger, a little bit bulkier. So Kintaro definitely feels like it. Goro feels a little skinnier. He feels a little thicker and bulkier too as well. All right, that is going to do it for a closer look at Kintaro. So let's go ahead, throw it back up to me for my final thoughts. All right, final thoughts on Storm Kintaro. Here is, as always, this guy is incredible. Storm always delivers satisfying figure, and a lot of the time they come out with a big home run, and Kintaro here is one of those big home runs. This guy is so incredibly awesome. I just love from the way he looks to the way he poses, how big he is, how intimidating he is. He is going to fit in so well on the Mortal Kombat shelf with all of the other Mortal Kombat guys, specifically the other big bosses, because he's a big boss, and I gotta love the Mortal Kombat big bosses. And if you love them, you gotta get your hands on this guy while he's still available. Like I say with all the Storm figures, if you want any of them, make sure you get them at their retail price while they are still available, or else you are going to be paying about double the price for all of these figures. So expect when this guy goes out of stock, his price is going to shoot up. So if you want him, get him now. All right, everyone, that is going to do it for my review of Storm Collectibles Kintaro. Go ahead and let me know down below what you think about Storm Collectibles Kintaro. Do you have him already? Are you looking on adding him to your collection? All of that fun stuff. And with all of that said, thank you for watching all the way to the end. I really appreciate it. As always, I have been your host, Deceptibot9. Thank you all for joining me here, and I'll see y'all later.